Okay, so let's get started with our beautiful jasmine stitch sun hat. Now to begin, for the jasmine stitch, please watch the tutorial. I will let the link below this video because it's actually the same thing, so it's about just refreshing your memories or learn how to work the jasmine stitch first. It's important because if you don't, I'm afraid you won't understand the pattern here. It's yes, with the jasmine stitch. Now we want to begin with the magic circle like this, and we will chain one just to keep safe our magic circle, and now we can begin actually with the very first round. So chain 2 more for the first double crochet and yarn over, insert the hook around the circle and work a half of our double crochet, and now all together. Actually this is our first cluster. The cluster will be formed by formed by 2 double crochets or chain 3 and double crochet. Okay, so there are 2 stitches, and now we will work pairs of 2. So chain 3, yarn over into the first chain of your chain 3, insert the hook and work your double crochet. Now yarn over and pull through 2. This is, sorry, we don't want actually to close the first cluster because we want to work one more into the circle. So 1 double crochet, don't finish it, yarn over around the circle, work another double crochet, and this is our pair of clusters. We have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. Now chain 3 again and insert the hook into the very first chain that you made and work another double crochet. Don't finish it, yarn over into the magic circle, work again 2 double crochet, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. And now this is how we have to go on until we will have 6 all around. 6 we will always count the horizontal clusters. So these are verticals, these are horizontal. So these are the clusters that we will actually count for the stitch, so to know how many stitches we have. Now we will continue on, chain 2 because we already chained 1. Insert the hook into the very first chain, work a double crochet, yarn over around the magic circle, work 2 more double crochets and yarn over, pull through all. Now chain 3, yarn over, insert the hook into the first and work a double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook around the magic circle, work 2 more for the second cluster and yarn over, pull through all. Now let's see, we have 1 2 3 4 5. We can just close a little bit, and now we want to work one more, so it's 1 2 3, yarn over and work one more pair. And now we have actually here 1 2 3 4 5, only 5, and here we have 6. This means that we have to complete just with 1 horizontal cluster, because for the first pair we already work our vertical cluster, which is this one, the very first one. Okay, so if you remember, of course you remember, we worked 1 cluster to begin and then the pairs. And now to complete this pair, so the last pair, we already have the vertical one, and now we will work the horizontal one. Like this. and we will join into the first chain here, the top of the first cluster. So it's the chain on the top of the first cluster, and I am trying to insert the hook through 2 loops, not only 1. Okay, pull a loop and pull through these 2, chain 1. Okay, and this is our first round. Now, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horizontal clusters, and this is what we need. Now, from the second round, we will begin to increase. And to increase, we will work like this. 2 clusters, a group of two clusters will be the increase. The group of 3 clusters together will be the normal stitch, so the stitch actually. And let me show you. We begin each round with 1 cluster, and we won't count this, only at the end, okay? So just work 1 cluster as you did for the first round, like this, and we don't want to actually count it. Now what we need a marker. Okay, so we need a marker, and we will put the marker here on the top of the first cluster. But first, let us work our first increase. When I say increase, it's about a group of 2 clusters. So it's 1, 2, 3. Insert the hook into the first and work 1 more double crochet, but don't finish. Into the same chain where you work your first cluster, the solitary cluster, work another group, so another cluster. And now here we have our first increase. So when we work 2 clusters together, it's the increase. When we work 3 clusters together, it's the normal stitch. Now insert your marker into the chain here on the top of the very first cluster. And now I will show you how to work 3 together. It's actually the jasmin stitch. Now to work 3 together, we will work the first one here, the second one here, actually where we work the second of the increase cluster, group of clusters, and the third we will skip the first horizontal cluster and into the chain. All together, of course. So chain 2 more, insert the hook into the very first chain and work 1 double crochet. Don't finish it. Leave the loops on the hook. Insert the hook where you work your second cluster of the increase and work a cluster here. Now 4 loops on the hook. Leave it on the hook. Yarn over, skip 1 horizontal cluster, insert the hook into the chain and work the third cluster. So 2 double crochets work together. Now we have 6 loops on the hook, and this is our group of 3 clusters together. Yarn over and pull through all. Chain 1 to secure. Okay, and now for the first round we will go on like this. We will increase 1 and work 1 stitch. And when I say 1 stitch, I want to repeat this because it's very important. So actually this is the key for the crown of the hat, okay? So for increasing with this stitch. So a normal stitch, 1 stitch, when I say 1 stitch, it's a group of 3 clusters together. When I say increase, it's a group of 2 clusters together, okay? Now we will work an increase. So chain 2 more, insert the hook into the very first chain, so the secure chain, and work 1 double crochet, leave the loops on the hook. Insert the hook where you work the last, so the third cluster of the group of 3, and work 1 more cluster. And this is our increase. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 1 to secure. We worked an increase and now we work a normal stitch, which means we will work a cluster composed by 3 groups, composed by 3. So this is my first, where you work your second of the increase, work your second of the group of 3, 4 loops on the hook, and always skip one horizontal cluster when you work the third one. Okay, always. Okay, and this is my third. I have 6 loops on the hook, so always you will have 6 loops on the hook for the normal stitch, so the group of 3 clusters together, and you will have 4 loops on the hook for the increase, so for the group with 2 clusters together. Yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. We work this one, and now we work an increase, which means we will work 2 clusters together, so we will have 4 loops on the hook. This is the first, and the second, it's exactly where you work the third of the group of 3. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 3, yarn over, and now we will work the group of 3, so a normal stitch. Here is the second. When you work the second of the increase, and skip one horizontal cluster for the third one. Always keep the horizontal cluster for the third one. Okay, 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. So we can actually see our stitches. This is an increase. We have only 2 pairs, only 2 clusters. This is the stitch, and we have 3 clusters. Okay, we just want to continue on like this. So I work my normal stitch. Now I will work an increase, which means I will work 2 clusters together. 1, and where you work your third of the normal stitch, work your second of your increase, second cluster. 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, chain 1, chain 2 more into the chain 1 here, insert the hook, and work 1 double crochet. Now we will work a normal stitch. This is the second. We skip 1 horizontal cluster, and into the chain we work 2 more double crochets. Here we are, 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, chain 1 to secure. So we work 3, now we work again an increase, which means we will work 2 clusters together. This is the first one where we work the third of the normal stitch, we work the second of the increase. And this is how we have to go on for the second round. Now we work a group of 3 clusters, so a normal stitch. This is the first where you work the second of the increase. You work the second of your stitch, and we always skip 1 horizontal and work into the chain the third one. 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. Now let us count a little bit the horizontal clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 2 more to complete our round, so from 6 we will have 12 here. So yarn over, and we have to work our increase, so 2 clusters together. 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, chain 3, and we have to work the group of 3. But for the last group of 3 we already have the third one, which is this one, the very first one that we begin with. Okay, so I said at the beginning of the round, don't count this, because we want to count it with the last group of 3. So we increased, and now we will work a normal stitch, which means we will work 3 together. I already have 2 here, and I just have to join with the first one to finish the round. So we always finish the round like this. That's why I always said, don't count the very first one. Okay, I insert the hook into the chain, pull up a loop, and pull this loop through all the other, and chain 1 to secure. Okay, now this is what we have, and now we can count the horizontal cluster. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And this is what we have. Now let me show you a little bit, because actually we increase more or less exactly as we increase for a normal hat with a single crochet, as you can see, into the first we had 6 horizontal clusters. So we always count the horizontal clusters, of course, to know how many stitches we have. So 6 for the first one, 12 for the second one, so 12. And it's 2 clusters together means 1 increase. 2 clusters together, 1 increase. 3 clusters together, it's 1 stitch, 1 normal stitch, okay? And knowing this, very important, this is very important, okay? So 2 clusters together means 1 increase. 3 clusters together means 1 stitch. Knowing this, we will go on and increase like this. Into the third round, we will increase by 6, so we will have 18. And we will work 1 increase and 2 normal stitches. This means we will work once 2 clusters together, and then 2 groups of 3 clusters together for 6 times, okay? Always for 6 times. Now into the fourth we will increase by 6, always increase by 6. So we always add 6 horizontal actually clusters, okay? So at the end of the third round we will count 18 horizontal clusters. Into the fourth we will work 1 increase, which means 2 clusters together, plus 3 normal stitches, which means 3 clusters together per 3, okay? And this is how we go on. So actually it's really easy once you get the idea of these clusters and group of clusters. So again, 2 clusters together means 1 increase, 3 clusters together means 1 normal stitch. Okay, so as I said, for the third row we want to work an increase, but first we begin with our solitary cluster. So chain 3, and into the very first chain here work 1 more double crochet, chain 3, and let us begin actually the round. We don't count this, we will be part of the last normal stitch, so third will be actually the third cluster. Okay, now this is 1 cluster, and into the same where you work the solitary cluster, work 1 more. Okay, I just worked my first increase. And now I can put my marker, where it is here, my marker on the top, always on the top, into the chain, actually here into the chain of the, into the chain of the first solitary cluster. And now I said 1 increase and 2 normal stitches, which means we will work 2 times 3 clusters together. This is the first, where we work our second of the increase, we work the second, and we skip a horizontal cluster and we work the third. Okay, perfect. 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through actually all, chain 1 to secure. And now let's work 1 more group of 3, so 1 more normal stitch. This is my first cluster where I worked my third, I will work my second of this group, and I will skip 1 horizontal cluster and I will work the third one. Always skip 1 horizontal cluster to work your third cluster. Okay, now I have 1 increase, so a group of 2 and 2 normal stitches, 2 groups of 3. So this means I will repeat this sequence all around. The last, don't forget, will be an increase, one group of 3, and the last group of 3 will actually we will work only 2 clusters because we already have the last one, so the third one. But I will be back to show you, okay? So now just repeat this sequence. 2, so now we will work a increase and then 2 stitches with 3 clusters together, okay? Let me show you one more time, just to be sure that you understand. Now, this is my first cluster of the increase, and when you work, where you work the third of the last stitch, work your second of the increase. And we have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through all. Chain 1 to secure, chain 2 more to begin our group of 3. First cluster, second cluster, where you work your second cluster of the increase. Third cluster, for the third cluster we already skip 1 horizontal cluster. 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 6, chain 1 to secure, chain 2 more, and let us begin our second group of 3. So this is the first cluster, the second cluster you work the second one where you work the third of the last group of 3. Now we have 2 clusters, skip 1 horizontal cluster, insert the hook into the chain and work it. 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. Can you see? Here it is, my increase and my 2 groups of 3. 2 times I repeat it. Now I have 4 more times to repeat. I will be back to show you how to finish the round. So I almost finished my third round, and if I count, I must have 17 horizontal clusters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17, because I have 1 more to work. Now I worked my first group of 3, and as I said, for the last group of 3 we work only 2 because we already have the third one. Just take up the marker to work the stitch in. Now work 1 cluster and the second one. Oops, sorry. And the second one, and as I said, the third one we have it here. It's the first that we worked. Insert the hook into the chain on the top of it, pull the yarn through it and pull the yarn through all, and chain 1 to secure. Okay, and this is actually our third round. And for the crown of our hat, so for the circumference or the diameter that we need, and I will tell you something very, very important. So it's a very, very nice and easy tip to work a perfect crown. So we will go on and we will increase like this. It's so easy. Now we increase once and we work 2 stitches, which means 1 of 2 clusters together and 2 of 3 clusters together. Okay, now for the next round we will increase 1. We will always begin with 1 cluster, then we will increase 1 and we will work 3 stitches, which means 3 groups of 3 clusters together per 6 times. Now into the 5th we will go on with 1 increase and 4 stitches, so 4 groups of 3. 1 increase, which means 2, 1 group of 2 clusters together, plus 4 groups of 3 clusters together. And we'll just go on like this as for the actually perfect diameter of our crown, of the crown of our hat. Okay, and this is the most important part actually of the hat. If you understand this part, you have no problem with the rest. Okay, so hope you understand it, because it's really easy. So 5th and again into the 6th, we will have 36 horizontal clusters. Okay, so now the stitches that we want to count, to be sure that we have all the amount that we need, are the horizontal clusters. We will one increase, so we will increase 1 plus 5 stitches, so which means 2 clusters together once and 3 clusters together 5 times, or 6 times, of course. So this is the sequence that we will have to repeat 6 times. Okay, now let me just go on a little bit with the crown of my hat, and I will be back to show you how to continue on. So here I am. I finished the crown of my hat, and actually I worked 6 rounds. Into this last round I have 36 horizontal clusters. Okay, so in this last round of increases, I worked 1 increase plus 5 normal stitches. So normal stitches, yes, stitches, which means I work 1 increase. 1 increase is 2 clusters together plus 5 normal stitches, and 1 normal stitch is 3 clusters together. Okay, and I finish with my crown, and I'm sure that I finish with my crown because now I said first that I want to show you and to explain you a formula, very easy to know from the diameter the circumference. So only the measure that you have to know to create a perfect fit for a hat is the circumference of the head. Okay, and if you know the circumference, it's really easy, because the circumference of the head, the head, it's really easy to measure. Okay, now that we have the crown, so the increasing part and the most important part for a hat to fit, all that we have to do is to measure the diameter. So let us measure the diameter. Oops, not like this. This is centimeter, okay? Really nice, and it's about 17 centimeters. Okay, and what I will do to transform the diameter into the circumference, so I want to know if this diameter is perfect for the circumference that I need. So I will just we will just do a very easy multiplication. We will multiply the number of the number that we have of the diameter, so in my case it's 17, with 3.14. So this is the number, the magic number that you have to keep in mind. So it's 17 per 3.14. And in my case is 53, 38 and 38. So the circumference of my head is 54. So for me it's perfect. Okay, in this pattern actually it's better to be a little bit smaller than the perfect circumference, because we can just change the hook. So in my case I worked the crown with a 3mm hook. I will change maybe with a 3.5mm hook, okay, for the stripe of the hat. Okay, so keep in mind this, because it's very important. So it's better to be smaller than larger, the circumference. Okay, so in my case it's perfect. Now what I have to do is that I will work the stripe only half with the same stitch, so with the jasmine stitch. I will begin with the same solitary cluster. Here it is. And then I will work only groups of 3 clusters together, so only normal stitches, not increases. So I won't work anymore groups of 2 clusters together. and that's all. At the end I will finish with this, that will be my third, and 2 more. So the same thing that I did before. And now let me show you, but it's actually the same thing. So this is my first, here I will work my second, and here my third. And I will just go on like this with groups of 3 clusters together. Now I just want to put the marker into my first, this one, solitary, oops, solitary stitch here, cluster here, and I will just go on with 3 groups, groups of 3 clusters. At the end I will work 2 plus the one that I already have, which is the solitary cluster, will be my third of my last group. Okay, now let me work some rounds for the stripe, and then I will be back, because for the stripe we will work the first part with the jasmine stitch, and then the second part we will work it with another beautiful stitch. Okay, and then of course we will work the brim of our sun hat. So now I finished the first round without increases, and just I wanted to show you why I said before that the circumference of the crown of this hat must be a little bit smaller than the circumference of the head for a perfect fitting. Because as you can see, I finished the first round and it's just flat as it was first. Okay, so from the second and third round without the increase, we will just see the head shaping. Okay, so that's why I underlined this idea, and I wanted to show you the first the effect actually of the first round without the increase. There is no effect, okay, for now. Okay, so that's why please make it a little bit smaller. So the circumference of the crown of your head must be a little bit smaller. What I intended with a little bit smaller is 1 or 2 centimeters. Okay, now I just go on, and I will turn back to show you how to change the stitch. So I finished a part of the headband of my hat. So this is the crown, the increasing part, and this is the headband. Okay, stripe band as you want. Now look at this beautiful stitch. So it's really elegant and fancy and beautiful from my point of view. Now I finished 3/4, and it measures actually about 8 centimeters, and actually I work let me 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah, 6 or 7 rounds. And now for 1/4 of the headband, so the length of the headband, I will work the bubble stitch, exactly the bubble stitch that I used for the purse, coin purse with the click-clack closure, exactly the same thing. But to begin with that stitch, we will put first a single crochet round. So how to work the single crochet round? Now we have here the chain 1, in between the stitches, work, so actually into the chain stitch here, in between the stitches work a single crochet. Around the stitch, actually around the chain 3 space, work 2 single crochets, and that's the rule. Now in between the stitch, let me just zoom in a little bit. Yes, in between the stitches, so the clusters, horizontal clusters, work 1 single crochet. Around the chain 3 of the cluster, work 2 single crochets. Okay, and just go on like this all around for the first round, and then we will work the bubble stitch, exactly the same thing, but I will be back to show you how. Okay, now I finished my single crochet round here it is. And I actually cut the yarn because I want to change color. You can go on with the same color as you wish. Now you must have to know how many single crochets you have, you just have to know how many horizontal clusters you have, and in my case are 36. So 36 per 3 are 108 stitches. Actually, I have all around 108 single crochets, but if you have, depends on the last increase that you made, the last increase round that you made, how many you had in the last increase. So I had 36, if you remember. Okay, I remember. So another very important thing, now we just want to begin with the bubbles. Yes, I love bubbles. So in crochet. So I will change color. So here it is, my chocolate. I don't know, it's a kind of chocolate brown. And yes, very, very, very important. If you don't want to change color, you will just, so you finish here, okay? You will just want to turn, chain and turn your work like this. So you will work the bubble sequence, you will work it from the inside to the external part. So this is the front side, the beauty side, the perfect side, okay? And this is the inside of the hat. Now you will work it from the inside. Can you see? We worked till now from the front side, from the external part. And now we just want to actually turn it like this, and we will work from this side or this part, or as you wish. 1, 2, 3. Now I will insert the hook into my very first single crochet here. This, and I will begin with a single crochet. Okay, if you don't remember, so a single crochet, if you don't remember how to work the bubble, this bubble stitch, I just left the link below of the coin purse, and you will just go on and look a little bit. Now single crochet, and now into the very next single crochet I will work a bubble. For the bubble, as we know, we work 5 double crochets, unfinished double crochet into the same single crochet. Okay, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and here it is, my 5th. Now yarn over, and we don't want to secure a chain. We just want to insert the hook into the very next single crochet and to single crochet, then yarn over into the very next single crochet, again a bubble. And this is the first, actually it's the second round of the pattern, because the first round of the pattern is the single crochet round. Okay, and we just want, as I said, we just want to continue on like this. I will go on, I think, for 2 or 3 bubble rounds, so this means 6. Okay, but I will be back, and I will show you how many I did, so I will explain it to you all that you have to need, okay. So I finished with the bubble pattern here, and I just worked 2 rounds, only 2 rounds of bubbles, because for me it's enough. Now for 2 rounds of bubbles I worked 1 round of single crochet, as you know, then 1 round of bubbles, then 1 more round of single crochet, the other one of bubbles, and 1 more round of single crochet. So here into the last round of single crochet I must have the same number of single crochets that I had here, where I worked on the horizontal clusters of the jasmin stitch. So in my case are 108. And now we will work again the jasmin stitch, but we will work the clusters with triple crochets, not with double crochets. Now let us, so actually I want to change the yarn again with this white. You can work it with the same color, of course, but I think it gives a nice contrasting this contrasting color border, a nice effect. Okay, so just slip stitch to join the new yarn and work chain of 4 for the first triple crochet. Now yarn over twice, insert the hook into the same single crochet and work your triple crochet, yarn over, pull through 2. Now skip 2 single crochets, into the third, insert the hook and work a slip stitch. Again, chain 4 for the first triple crochet, yarn over twice, insert the hook into the same single crochet and work the triple crochet, yarn over, pull through 2. Skip 2 single crochets and insert the hook into the third and work a slip stitch. Again, chain 4, yarn over twice, insert the hook into the same single crochet, work your triple crochet, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, skip 2 single crochets, insert the hook into the third and slip stitch. Again, chain 4, yarn over twice, insert the hook into the single crochet, work your triple crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, skip 2 single crochets, insert the hook into the third and slip stitch into it. Okay, let's say this slip stitch is not very easy, but we must slip stitch into it. Okay, and this is how I will go on all around. At the end of this round, first round of the brim, I must have the same number of horizontal clusters that I had here. So in my case are 36. So I finished the first round of the brim, and as you can see a little bit, it's like a brim, so it's larger. Okay, this is what I have. And now I will go on and work the jasmine stitch, exactly the same thing that I worked for the headband, but with the triple crochet. So this means I just want to show you the first. Work the solitary cluster with 4 chain 4 and 1 triple crochet. Then begin with the first group of this is the first cluster, the first group of 3. This is the first cluster. Now for the second we want to work in the same place where we work the solitary one, and we will work 2 triple crochets, leave the loops on the hook. Now skip 1 horizontal cluster of the first round and work another cluster but with triple crochet, pull through all, chain 1, and this is what we have. So as you can see, we just create again the groups of 3, so the jasmine stitch, but the only difference is that we work it with the triple crochet, not with the double crochet. We worked all the crown of the head and the headband with the double crochet because here we need something to create a nice shape for our headband. For the brim we need something more airy, more I don't know how to say, yes, airy, maybe it's the better term. Okay, now continue on with this second round of the brim, and I will be back to show you how to go on. So I finished my first round of the brim, and look at it, isn't it beautiful? I just love it. So here it is. Now for the second round we will increase, and actually we have to think of the last round of increases of the crown of the head. Now into the last round I worked 36 horizontal clusters, and I worked 1 increase and 5 normal stitches. You know what is a normal stitch and you know what is a horizontal, what is a increase. I explain it very well and detailed into the first part of this tutorial. So now I will increase I will work 1 increase and 6 normal stitches. So into the last increase round I work 1 increase and 5 normal stitches for 36 horizontal clusters. Now I will work 1 increase and 6 normal stitches for 42 horizontal clusters. So from 36 that we have here, we will have into the very next round 42. Depends on how many you have actually. Okay. And then I will work a round without increases. So I will maintain my 42 horizontal stitches. I will work a round only with groups of 3 clusters together. Of course, we will work with the triple crochet cluster. Okay, now I will work my 2 rounds, the one with increases and the one normal round without increases, and I will be back to show you the result. So I finished my 2 rounds, the first with the increases and the second worked normally only with normal stitches, which means only with groups of 3. And you know what? I cut the yarn. You know why? Yes, because I finished it. So my hat, my sunny hat, my fancy hat, it's ready. Not ready because, yes, this is what we just need. A nice, beautiful rose. I think this is just perfect from my point of view. Okay, so I will put the rose. And now if you want to continue on, if you want a more dramatic brim, you can just continue on with 2 more rounds, exactly the same thing. So the first you will increase. So I increased from 36 to 42. Now then I worked a round with 42. So only with groups of 3. Now if you want to continue on with your brim to put 2 more rounds, you can work 1 increase plus 7 and you will obtain 48 horizontal clusters, and then 1 more round with the same number of clusters. So only with groups of 3. And you will have a really dramatic brim. But for me, it's just perfect. Okay, so now let's work the very last round, which is a single crochet round, and it's just because we want to give it a nice little edge. Okay, now slip stitch in between the 2 clusters, the first and the last. And now around the chain 4, work 4 single crochets, 2, 3 and 4. Now in between the clusters work 1 slip stitch. Around the chain 4 work 4 single crochets. Okay, that's all. This is it. Now I will let the link to the sunny hat that I made last year, and that one is what it was a pattern of took from the Drops library of patterns, but this one is mine. So I'm really happy to share it with you. And nothing, you will just choose the one that you want, but it was somewhere long time ago this idea to make a beautiful hat, summer hat with the jasmine stitch was into my mind, and finally it came out, and I think it's perfect. Not perfect, but it's nice. Okay, you have to tell me your opinion. So don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials, and see you at the next tutorial. Bye bye.